develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Ostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is a Monday, a rainy Monday at that, but it is shining, I suppose, in the minds of Husker fans after Nebraska knocks off Michigan State over the weekend, 38-27. Good morning. This is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you as usual. However, today, no AD. AD speaking for the Kansas Broadcasters Association down in the Little Apple of Manhattan, Kansas today. And so with that means Austin Orman joins me on a Monday. Austin, good morning, my friend.
Nick, good morning. What a weekend. What a week.
What a weekend on multiple sports fronts. We're going to dive so deep into Nebraska, Michigan State. We both watched the game. And what I will also say is there were a lot of other fascinating things in addition to Nebraska, Michigan State in the college football world. Obviously, the Penn State and UCLA stuff will take the cake, but there's so much more that we can get to in across other conferences, right? Like you look at the Big 12. The Big 12 continues to just be wide open, and nobody's talking about how wide open the Big 12 is. Baylor lost to Kansas State. Iowa State loses to Cincinnati. Is Cincinnati the favorite? Is that where we're going with?
Cincinnati is looking like the favorite. I'm still not writing off Iowa State down its top two DBs. They're still really good. And let's not forget Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking like we're getting Texas Tech, Cincinnati in the Big 12 title race for now. Yeah. I've tried to tell people for years, the Big 12 is a second-tier conference. It's not as good. Trust me, I get it. But also I don't. Sit down and watch those teams play.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, Alabama, Ohio State every week, like there's good football being played in the Big 12, and it is fun to watch.
And there's this overarching thought, just like this cloud that we think the Big 12 is just a conference that scores 50 points a game and has no quality football.
BYU's undefeated too.
Exactly. And BYU. Utah is really good. The most intriguing game, one of the most intriguing games I will say about the upcoming week is a 9:15 p.m. kickoff between Arizona State at Utah. That is your Saturday night top 25 match nightcap of a 9:15 p.m. kickoff. And I think there is something to be said. Now, a lot of it has to do with time zones and when you can kick off in prime time and things like that. But there is something to be said that it's good for the sport having a matchup of two formidable teams that are really good. Both teams are 4-1. One is in the top 25, the other one not officially, but could be because Utah's quarterback is so good. And just Kyle Whittingham just continues just to nail away and just get wins. Is that if that is like the marquee nightcap of every single college football week belongs to the Big 12, that's okay. It's good for the conference because at least they dominate a time slot week after week.
Oh, absolutely. It's know your role, play it to the best of your ability. Of course, the Big 12 has its own potential to be on Big Noon.
Yeah.
But come on. That's not going to happen. You're going to put Ohio State or Penn State or Oregon in Big Noon as much as you can if you're Fox. So then you have programming to fill, and yeah, they'll maybe be in the Fox afternoon window potentially. But then especially that nighttime window, I don't think the Big 12 ever wanted to go west like it did.
No.
But the reality of the situation is that they did go west. They had to go west eventually. And now if they can own that late night kickoff, turn Pac-12 after dark into Big 12 after dark, it's not everything, but it's not nothing.
Yeah. It's at least something for the conference. Speaking of media or like time TV slots, Austin, and by the way, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys. The entire show, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable channel 961. Always want to thank our friends at Doors Plus for their partnership of the drive. I was talking yesterday on air out at Lincoln Youth Football about the TV slots and how the Big Ten is in a pretty good spot, obviously, with Big Noon being Big Noon's always going to get first pick, right? Because they're majority owner. And so when you look at that, it's Big Noon, Peacock, and NBC at night. But then on top of that, CBS over the last couple of weeks has gotten some really good games. And they get probably, in my opinion, the most intriguing game from a storyline perspective this week with Oregon and Indiana. They get Indiana, Kurt Cignetti, who's one of the most outward spoken coaches in college football, going up against Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. And there were a lot of kind of people that were speculating that CBS wasn't the most thrilled with getting a 2:30 time slot with Big Ten football because you're so accustomed to Alabama, Georgia on that time slot. Alabama, Tennessee. The marquee SEC game played at 2:30 on CBS. This year so far, it hasn't been the marquee Big Ten game until this week, in my opinion, but they're still getting exceptional games. They've gone from Nebraska, Michigan to it was Ohio State, Washington, Penn State, UCLA, and now Indiana, Oregon. The especially the Penn State UCLA game, probably on paper didn't seem like a great one, but now that's the one everybody's talking about.
And that's why you can't be upset with whatever window you get. You have to make the most of it. Obviously, when you look at SEC on CBS, you had those old, deep-seated, almost blood rivalries. In a lot of cases, you don't not have that in the Big Ten, but you mentioned those games. None of them that you mentioned are those dyed-in-the-wool. We've been playing this for 50 years, that we know exactly what goes into this game. But I want to give CBS some credit for leaning into it and saying, you know what? This is what we got. How do we maximize it? What is the next best game that we can get? And to your point, it's worked out pretty well for CBS so far. I get it. It's not the same yet. But as much as college football is about tradition, history, and those being some of the main reasons that we love the sport, and just tying that CBS intro music to the SEC for as long as you did, I would hope that CBS and Big Ten and college football fans don't just rely on history and tradition and say, hey, we can be in on the ground floor of something. We can set a new precedent. We can set a new standard, and we can enjoy this moving forward. And to your point, I mean, those have been 4 pretty incredible games in their own right to kick off the second year, really, first full year, of course, as a trial run last year of Big Ten on CBS. But it's a great step in the right direction, I think, for that league, for that platform to do that, because with Fox having the controlling interest, of course, in the media rights, CBS and then NBC are always going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball. They get 1 pick in the first 5, but Big Noon gets 3 in the first 5. So you make the best with what you have available to you. And I think that there's an opportunity there for, like you said about the Big 12, same thing goes for the networks. Own your window.
Yeah. I think if you own your window and you put together a positive product, people are going to gravitate towards it. And same with like broadcasters, right? I think people, without maybe even realizing it, they gravitate towards voices that they hear. I mean, people that listen to the ticket, right? Like just naturally you gravitate towards people that you enjoy listening to. And so I think that, having quality broadcasters and the nostalgia of a Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson most of the time on the call will also do that a lot for just college football casual fans as well. But I mean, there's some really good football games that we'll preview throughout the week on the show, where just some top 25 matchups. The Big Ten's got some great ones this week. Obviously, Ohio State at Illinois is your big noon kickoff. Alabama at Missouri is a big one for Kalen DeBoer, right? Like it feels like Kalen DeBoer might be turning a corner slightly for Alabama. He's gotten a couple of big wins, right? A couple of top 20 wins on the road at Georgia, then follows that up with a win at home against Vanderbilt. And so now it's like, okay, continue to build on that, because you're going to be facing a top 15 Missouri team on the road in Columbia. And that's going to be a fun environment for a lot of fans. But then back to the Big Ten, Indiana, Oregon. And then also, as I mentioned, the night game, Michigan, USC. Like Nebraska, Maryland is going to be a close, hotly contested ball game, in my opinion. Normally, that would almost feel like it could get the 3 p.m. Fox Sports 1 window that they had this last week. It could get potentially, I mean, thankfully it didn't, like an NBC matchup. Like it almost feels like that. But the games are so good that in the tier list in terms of national interest, Nebraska, Maryland might be like 5th or 6th of the Big Ten slate this weekend. And that's why it's on Big Ten Network.
Right. And again, not a bad place to be, not ideal, but Nebraska's got to earn its way, I guess, out. I mean, you're of course contractually obligated to play on Big Ten a certain number of times each year, but even being, 5th or 6th in the Big Ten, yeah, some of that's on it being Nebraska, some of it's on it being Nebraska, Maryland, but some of it's on, there's a crap ton of good games in the conference every week, which is what the conference overlords and Tony Petitti and his ilk were going for.
And maybe the best and most intriguing storyline of the national college football world this weekend is you have unranked Texas going up against 6th-ranked Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. I mean, if you would have asked that before the season started, hey, one of these teams is going to be 6th, one is going to be unranked. The way it looked like it was going to be Oklahoma unranked and Texas 6th in the country. Texas and Penn State, man, they're in some weird spots right now as programs.
I would say Penn State's in a weirder spot.
I would agree.
Just given that it was UCLA.
Yeah.
Now, Florida with Billy Napier's back against the wall is maybe the most dangerous team in the country. Not the best team, but the most dangerous team. I just think this could be the blip for Texas, right? Sark has been so good. I don't want to go into conspiracy land, but I do wonder if there's something up with Arch.
Yeah.
That we're not being told. Or maybe we overrated them. Maybe the talent was never there. I find that hard to believe, given that Sark had been pretty consistent since getting back to Texas. But if you're Penn State, you're not firing James Franklin.
No.
You can't do that. It was embarrassing, but it's really the first embarrassing black eye that James Franklin has brought to you in his tenure. At least the first one that immediately springs to mind, the first one in a very long time. James Franklin has been so good at winning the games he's supposed to win. And then when his team's an underdog, they'll be game, they'll fight, they'll usually cover for you, but they'll never win. This is really the exception to that rule. And one bad showing against a team that really had not much to play for but pride. But let's not underrate that, right? It's hard to go winless in sports. UCLA was always going to find a win somewhere. It's shocking that it was against Penn State. I don't like James Franklin blaming the travel like it's just a part of the deal. I'm not going to hear that from coaches anymore. Maybe we just got to say Drew Aller is what he is, and there's not a leap in him. More than anything, though, that defense got shredded.
Yeah, it did.
Shredded. You put up 35 points, and the two from the late safety, of course, for Penn State. Offense wasn't the issue for them. If you would have told me Penn State scored 37 points against UCLA, probably a nice tidy 37-3 sort of win. Now, if this spirals into Penn State's got some tricky games ahead, and they end up at 10-2, but it's not pretty, or 9-3, and it's kind of gutty, and they don't look great. Okay, then you start to have some questions. But again, it's kind of the one-off. But you could also see this being the moment where Penn State's like, okay, we let the preseason hype get to us. We let the national championship talk get to our heads coming off a Final Four appearance last year. You know what? We got to hunker down. We got to come together. We know we're better than this. How do we get better? I could see it going both ways for Penn State.
It's fascinating because when you look at the stats of this game, I mean, both quarterbacks led their respective teams in rushing yards in this game. Drew Aller, 11 carries, 78 yards. Nico Iamaleava, 16 carries, 128 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. The two exceptional running backs for Penn State, Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, combined for 19 carries and 89 yards, which is not accustomed to them, right? And so I think when you look at this, to make matters worse, you find out after the game that Jerry Neuheisel didn't even know how to work the headset. He wasn't pushing the buttons time and time again. And so Nico Iamaleava was calling some of his own plays for this game because Jerry Neuheisel wasn't getting the play into the helmet of the quarterback. And so when you kind of factor all of that, it's just a very uncomfortable, bad loss.
And let's bring it back home to Nebraska real quick. UCLA, in a much worse spot than Nebraska, beat a much better team than Nebraska's played in a couple years without their offensive coordinator knowing how to work the headset. UCLA snaps a 16-game losing streak against top 10 teams with a quarterback under fire, with no head coach, with no offensive coordinator, because Tino Sanseri's on the open market
and
now.
no defensive coordinator.
No defensive coordinator. Yeah. How do other teams do this stuff every once in a blue moon and Nebraska can't? It's hilarious sometimes.
Austin, it's bizarre because, to bring money and salaries in this, because I think it's so funny, because it does just show, this is why you play the games. It's always that older guy that's like, why you play the game. Well, yeah, now, I guess, because on one side, you have a interim head coach and Tim Skipper, who's making less than $500,000. Jerry Neuheisel is making just over $315,000 this year. And then you look on the Penn State sideline, and you have a coach that's making $8.9 in James Franklin per year, $8.9 million. Their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, is making $3.1 million. And then Andy Kotonecki is making a little over 1.8. That's $13.1 million, give or take,
compared to less than one.
Yeah, compared to less than 1 million of acting head coaches on the other sideline. It just goes to show, yes, I guess that's why you play the game. Now, I will say this about Penn State, though, Austin, is that I'm in line with you in an agreement that, James Franklin here in his career, 128-59 in 187 games coached for over Penn State and Vanderbilt. He's 128-59. In 148 games coached specifically at Penn State, he is 104-44. It's good for a 7. He's winning 70% of his games. He has a Big Ten title, has a college football playoff semifinal appearance in there as well. But this is a guy that now you look ahead at Penn State's schedule, and they'll be fine against Northwestern this week. I would imagine they'll blow out the Wildcats. And it's funny because last week AD and I joked around. I was like, AD, what if UCLA beats Penn State? He's like, that's not going to happen.
That's only the second best call you made all week.
That's not true. But anyway, so it's Northwestern at Penn State, then Penn State at Iowa. But then after that, here's the thing. Penn State has to travel to Ohio State and Indiana the following week. Indiana goes to Penn State. Those are two, massive games for James Franklin, because you can put the whooping on Northwestern and Iowa all you want, but for the expectations that Penn State's fans have and that the country continues to put on the shoulders of Penn State, if you don't win one of those games against Ohio State or Indiana, it's going to get even more uncomfortable than it is, because the two wins against Northwestern and Iowa, do not negate losses against Ohio State and Indiana.
Which is the more likely win for Penn State right now? In the Horseshoe or at home against Indiana?
I would say at home. I think at home. That Ohio State defense is good, and I don't think the Penn State offense is very dynamic.
Indiana's defense is sneaky, though.
That's true.
Indiana's legit. Again. So Indiana might be favored in that game. If Ohio State beats Penn State by double digits, Indiana could be favored going to Happy Valley. To me, yes, I agree that winning in Happy Valley is obviously more likely than winning in the Horseshoe. But could this be the year that the Penn State drops the stupid one and wins the one it's not supposed to against Ohio State? And then picture this. They come in, they finally did it. They're back. They undid that loss against UCLA.
Oof.
They're favored against Indiana. Here come the Who's. They win on a last-second field goal or something.
The upcoming schedule for Penn State, as I mentioned, Northwestern, Iowa. It's at Iowa. It's at Kinnick. Then it's at Ohio State, Indiana at home, at Michigan State, Nebraska at Penn State, and then Penn State finishes out with on the road at Rutgers. In which those last three are fine. Like, they are what they are. But I will say this. Maybe I need to not overlook the road game at Iowa also. I mean, I just don't know how much we can buy into Penn State right now. They didn't boost up their skill positions. The wide receiver room is awful. And so even if Drew Aller wanted to throw the ball or they wanted to get back in a comeback fashion, they have to find creative ways to do it. It's just a weird dynamic right now for Penn State.
Penn State, work with me here, feels kind of like Clemson last year, except that they don't have to run the table and win the conference championship. The narrative right now surrounding Penn State, obviously, they're bad, they're overrated. Can they get it together? James Franklin this, James Franklin that. A lot of it sounds to me like what we are hearing with Clemson for the last couple of years, really. Now, benefiting Penn State is that they play in the Big Ten. If Penn State, I think they have to be top 3 now. I don't think Penn State at number 4 gets into the college football playoff, but if Penn State's number 3 in the Big Ten with a win over Indiana, again, a lot to be determined. We'll see how the SEC shakes out.
Does it feel like that game will determine who is the last Big Ten team to make it?
Potentially. I would, depending on how things go for Michigan.
Okay.
I think there could be enough buzz around them. And if Indiana stays good, I think the Big Ten could get 4 again. I think 3 is most likely. I think if it's Penn State, they have to be number 3 after this loss to UCLA. But if Indiana avoids bad losses and Michigan goes 11-1 if they beat Ohio State again, or 10-2 with a loss to Ohio State, I doubt Michigan gets in. But I think a 10-2 Michigan, depending on how it looks, certainly an 11-1 Michigan looks better than a 10-2 Penn State, or a 10-2 Michigan probably looks better than a 10-2 Penn State with the loss to UCLA on its resume. So I think 3 is most likely. I'm not ruling out 4, but for Penn State specifically, they can't be number 4.
It's so fascinating. And maybe it's me not buying into Indiana yet. Like, I wonder, I talked about this, I think, with Jay on the post-game show Saturday night, of like, Husker fans just naturally feel like, okay, yeah, we saw them do something positive. We saw them win a game. Maybe they weren't supposed to, whatever it may be. I want to see them do it again. I want to see the consistency. Like, it can never get you over the hump, right? And I feel like that's where a lot of us, myself, maybe more so than others, is at with Indiana. Like, it's like, okay, I know Indiana's good, but now I want to see them do it against Oregon. Like, and then it's going to be next week. And then when they play Penn State in a couple weeks, it's going to be like, okay, now let me see what they can do against Penn State. Maybe I'm not giving Indiana enough credit, and maybe Penn State loses both of those.
I'm not saying you're doing this, so don't take this as a direct personal attack. I'm just saying I've noticed in college sports that there is some of that goalpost moving, and we're reluctant to give teams the nod.
Yeah.
And
when they're not the household names.
Absolutely. And I don't want to go all in on something, get burned and be wrong, and give people too much credit for stuff they haven't done, which is why when I say stuff like this, it's Indiana, they're in the conversation. I'm not saying they're in for sure.
Yeah.
They've done enough to be in the conversation. Take it week by week, moment by moment. Penn State right now has not done enough to be in the conversation. They're out of it. I give them more benefit of the doubt than I do Indiana. with James Franklin's track record and the talent on that team. But Indiana's good. I'm not saying they're great. I'm not saying they're elite. I'm not saying they're a playoff shoe-in. I'm saying they've given themselves a chance again. That's worthy of recognition.
How does that change if they win in Eugene on Saturday?
Man,
because
then we're staring down the barrel of Buckeyes and Hoosiers.
It is
championship.
It is. I mean, now I think there's going to be a large group of people that say Oregon's going to win, right? Just because the way that Dan Lanning gets his guys ready to go, and they do those cinematic recaps, and you always wonder, okay, like whether it's Nebraska, whether it's Penn State, Oregon, like how much can you really believe that that's not, I don't want to say scripted, but I'll say like it's not, fabricated to be put together in a certain,
well, you
order.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, like you take it with a grain of salt. But to this point, Dante Moore has looked at like one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Will Stein has quickly emerged as a head coach candidate at some of these smaller jobs that are going to naturally open up because of what he's done as an offensive coordinator at Oregon, especially the way, and here's what I would also tell you about Will Stein in the future there, is that his future and what people expect from him gets higher and higher because of what Kenny Dillingham does at Arizona State.
Yeah.
Because Kenny Dillingham came from Dan Lanning's staff at Oregon in his first year. And so there's a lot that goes into this with Will Stein. But ultimately, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm going to be heavily intrigued to see what happens in that 2:30 slot with with Oregon and Indiana, because you have on one side a coach in Curt Cignetti who so far through his year and a half has backed up everything he said. And he said some outlandish, wild stuff, but nobody's been able to discredit him. And then on the other side, you have Dan Lanning, who's this like hot, new, young, blue blood coach that hasn't won the big one yet. But yet to this point, it feels like this year's their best chance to do it.
Which is funny after you think about what they lost from last year.
Absolutely.
Being the 1 seed in the college football playoff. I'm just glad that we get that sort of round robin between Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana, because Ohio State does still look like the class of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Which, shocker, I know, but I'm kind of surprised. I've been most impressed with Oregon just based on my preseason thoughts about them. They've answered pretty much every question they have, and they're doing it without top 5, top 10 transfer portal addition in Mekhi Hughes. So I've been impressed with Oregon, the way they handled Penn State, and everything that went into that game. I'm going to be one of those people picking them to beat Indiana, but not in a blowout, not in a romp. I mean, I could see this game being 42-41. I could see it being 17-16.
Yeah,
I really could, because they both play some sneaky good defense. Fascinating matchup there into Indiana, Penn State down the line. I mean, I don't love everything the Big Ten's done, but at least we get compelling football.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you mentioned Ohio State and that 42-3 blowout win at home against Minnesota this last weekend. I know it's Maryland week, so we'll keep it on the Terps going forward here for the next couple of days. But then there is also, like, I'm fascinated to dive into Minnesota to see what the deal is there. They lose to Cal earlier in the year on the road. We know how good Sajid Patui, the quarterback there, is for Cal. But then, they win against Rutgers, I believe, by 3, and then they get blown out to Ohio State. And there's a chance that if Nebraska played Ohio State, they'd lose 42-3. Like, I'm not sitting there saying that. But this week they play Purdue, who is fine.
You're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, you're not going to learn anything. But then it's a Friday night game in Minneapolis, and it feels like anything can happen there. So I'll be interested to kind of start eventually a week down the road, hopefully when Nebraska's 5-1, to kind of do a dive into Minnesota and the Golden Gophers and PJ Fleck's situation there here in 2025. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, let's dive into Nebraska, Michigan State. We'll give our thoughts on that. Once again, AD is out today. He's back tomorrow. He's just down in Manhattan, Kansas, the Little Apple, doing a presentation for an association down there. So Austin Norman joins me today. You can always reach out to us, 464-5685 on the Honda of Lincoln hotline or the Starter Heyman text line. We'll step aside. The drive continues next here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is your year where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Koppel Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Koppel is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Koppel Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at koppelcars.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Orman, AD back tomorrow. Austin, big week for you and I this week. We will be off to Chicago on Wednesday morning as we bring Big Ten Basketball Media Days coverage to the ways of the listeners as all 18 teams for Wednesday for Big Ten Women's Basketball on Wednesday, Big Ten Men's Basketball on Thursday. Looking forward to it. We'll be back in town, though, on Friday morning, but it's going to be a good couple of days in Chi-Town.
Man, it's Big Ten Basketball Media Days, and that's something that has been, not really, I don't want to say bucket list, but, you know, it's football season, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a wandering eye toward basketball season already.
Sure.
Obviously, Friday night was notable because Nebraska and Penn State were playing volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
That was my second screen. My first screen was Countdown to Craziness for Duke men's basketball. So, yeah, I get it's college football season. Love it, everything that goes into it. But I'm excited for college basketball, and especially if you want to bring it back home here to Nebraska specifically. Women coming off a tournament appearance again, back-to-back years for them. They're going to be good. Obviously, Alexis Markowski gone. I'm curious to see if this has truly developed into Britt Prince's team. She's one of the representatives for Nebraska out there. Natalie Potts, Allison Widener coming off injuries, and plenty of great players around them as well in their roles. And then Nebraska men's basketball, I don't know how good they're going to be, but my gauge is that they're going to at least be fun.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be interesting. There's plenty of storylines. I think it's going to be a team that plays fast and gets shots up. Not what Husker fans have been accustomed to seeing, but there's intrigue around both the men's and women's basketball programs.
Yeah, and men's basketball gets started a week from Saturday. They have an exhibition against a BYU team who had the #1 recruit in the country go to their place.
So this is Sweet 16 BYU team last year, ended up losing to Alabama in the Sweet 16. Former NBA assistant Kevin Young is there as the head coach. You mentioned the headliner will obviously be a guy that's one of the top 3 freshmen in college basketball this year, in AJ DeBansa. They get a somewhat under the radar trader in Robert Wright, the transfer Robert Wright III from Baylor. Add that to a couple really fascinating returning pieces from that team. I have no idea how Nebraska got this lined up with BYU, how they not only got the game, but got it to be in Lincoln.
That's crazy.
It is incredible, and there is no shot I'm missing that. I mean, seeing Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper up close and personal last year was pretty cool. There's plenty of talent that walks in and out of the building, but you don't see Nebraska BYU. And AJ DeBansa is not just a college basketball story. He's an NIL story. He's a business story. He's an NBA story. I know it's a preseason scrimmage, would not be shocked if a scout or two finds their way into Pinnacle Bank Arena just to say, you know what, let's get early eyes on this kid. You definitely go to the scrimmage. I mean, you can't pass up an opportunity to see a guy that's going top 5 in the NBA draft.
And no disrespect for these teams, but like it's not a Nebraska Doan. It's not a Nebraska versus roast beef state, as we always like to joke around. But no,
Neil, don't be scared.
Neil says this on the text line. I'm scared for Nebraska's basketball team and Fred this year. I'd be amazed, Neil says, if they broke 500.
Neil, I can't change your mind for you. I will tell you this. Fred Hoiberg and his staff have done enough to earn the benefit of the doubt in my mind. I think the floor has raised. I really do. Now, where's the ceiling? That's to be determined year over year. But I feel much more confident in this Nebraska team winning the games that it should and not losing the games that it shouldn't. Okay, Minnesota at the end of last year, maybe the exception. You can throw that back in my face and I'll say, yeah, that was inexplicable what they did. But I'm not saying Nebraska is going to get the first tourney win this year. I'm not saying they're not. My guess is this looks like a much different Nebraska team, or I think it could. There's not a great rim protector. There's not a bunch of high-flying athletes on this team. What they do have is really great passing. They've raved about the shooting all year, some positional flexibility and versatility. And I'll say this. There's a reason Nebraska has been picked 12th in a lot of the Big Ten preseason polls.
Yeah.
They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to be elite. They'll be fine. They'll be watchable. They'll be interesting. They can't miss the Big Ten tournament this year.
Bingo. That's the big. I was just going to go there. I was just going to go.
But if you're saying that 8 to 10 Big Ten teams get in the NCAA tournament, it's on the table that Nebraska can be one of those 8. It's not for sure. You don't feel the same way you did going into 23-24, but this team is going to be interesting. They're going to be solid. They're going to, I think, be fun. And if everything breaks right, everything's on the table for them.
And here's what Neil says. And I want to I think this is where Neil's coming from. And Neil says this, I pray I eat crow and I'm wrong, but I just don't see it with the talent on the team. I think to Neil's point, the thing I would say is that we don't know a lot about the talent on the team. There's a lot of new faces on this roster that Nebraska fans are going to need to learn. Obviously, Rink Mass, and obviously, Sam Hoiberg and what they're going to bring, right? But other than that, like, there's a lot of expectations around even a Braden Frager. And it's like, how does that transition from now being a practice guy, a watch from the sidelines guy to now contributor be? I mean, you go down the list. What is Lawrence, Jamarcus Lawrence.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to say Trevor Lawrence. Jamarcus Lawrence. What does Jamarcus Lawrence look like now, a couple of years removed from being a part of Nebraska basketball a couple of years ago in his new role? What's it look like? There's a lot of just new faces and new additions that I think I understand where Neil's coming from to this point of like, you don't see the talent. I think it's just we don't know about the talent.
Yeah, you don't have the answers yet. And you can't have the answers. It's October 6th.
Yep.
They've been practicing for like 2 weeks.
Yep.
We can't possibly have the answers. I do think that the pieces are interesting enough. I'm not so bold as to throw out a potential starting lineup right now. I have my guesses, but it's a team that I think should fit together pretty well on the offensive end. If Nebraska can hang in there on the defensive end, I think they'll be fine. Again, they're not elite, but you're not asking Nebraska to compete with Purdue right now, right? Nebraska's competition is Wisconsin. Nebraska's competition is, I think, a down Michigan State.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing it this year for them. I'm really not. You're talking about Ohio State with coaching questions. You're talking about Illinois, maybe more of that high-level talent you would think, except they're bringing in 3 or 4 foreign transfers. How do they acclimate? How do they adjust? Iowa and Indiana maybe got better, quote-unquote, transfers out of the portal, but breaking in new coaches. I mean, for Iowa, what a vibe shift for them.
That is exactly what the thing I'm most excited to learn and see play out on Thursday in Big Ten Media Days in Chicago with you and I, Austin, is that the Ben McCollum and Darian DeVries. I'm as big of a Darian DeVries guy as you can find. I loved what he did at Drake. I thought he was going to be good at West Virginia, and he was. And then you add the ability of his son, Tucker, as well into it. At a place of Indiana that should have been so much better. And they had all these high-rated recruits, so many good players. And I loved Mike Woodson. Like I really enjoyed the mantras of Mike Woodson and the way he acted. But at the end of the day, just didn't get the job done. And so I like the new coaches aspect at a couple of notable Big Ten basketball schools is kind of an interesting storyline going into Wednesday and Thursday.
Well, and Buzz Williams is at Maryland.
That's right.
Now with Kevin Willard out the door, which
Man.
is intriguing. Steve Peichel and Rutgers have to rebuild.
Yeah.
He sold his soul for a chance to win a couple games in the NCAA tournament. With
They
a
ruined their
couple top
brand
five.
deal.
They did.
They ruined their
Their
brand deal
entire
with
brand
Adidas.
deal for the school out the window for two guys.
Yeah.
Steve Peichel's got some rebuilding to do. Nico Medved, I think, is going to be pesky at Minnesota.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe not quite this year. Northwestern and Chris Collins are going to give teams some fits because Nick Martinelli's back. So, no, Nebraska is not going to be up in the Purdue, Michigan, UCLA tier, right?
Yeah.
Oregon, I think, is going to be pretty solid as well. But for Nebraska basketball, for 20 years, all fans have been asking for is, can you just be respectable? Can you just hold our interest until baseball season? This team's going to do more than that. They really are. And so give them a chance.
Yeah.
Please, just give them a chance.
We were going to talk Husker football in this segment.
Yeah, we got a whole hour for that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to necessarily branch off into Big Ten basketball media days, but Austin and I will be there on Wednesday and Thursday, bringing you information from Chicago, from Chi-Town on Wednesday and Thursday. Might even catch a baseball game. Might even catch a Chicago Cubs baseball game, Austin and I. But either way, we're excited to be out there. Husker women's basketball will bring you all that information. Yeah, the whole Britt Prince side of things as well, entering her sophomore season after a stellar freshman year. Hopefully, Natalie Potts is somebody that can stay healthy for Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska has some real good talent. Amaya Hargrove, the jump from first year to second year for her. See what kind of plays out there. There's a lot of exciting pieces on that Husker women's squad as well. So women's action on Wednesday, men's media days coverage on Thursday, and then we go right back to Husker football conversations on Friday. So it's going to be a good time from Chicago. When we come back, let's break down a little history. Maybe we dive into Major League Baseball playoffs for 5-10 minutes, if that. Just kind of recap what happened this week. And then 10 o'clock, it's all Husker football. We promise here. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman alongside us, The Drive, sponsored by our friends at Doors Plus here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Hey Husker fans, Max 10 is turning up the excitement this season. They're giving away a pair of Husker volleyball tickets, and every time you tan, you're entered to win. Experience the 2025 season tour featuring high-pressure tanning, rejuvenating red light therapy, and flawless spray tanning, all for just $20.25. Look good, feel amazing, and cheer on the Lady Huskers in style. Max Tan, take it to the max.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in season? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainer, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of the 9 o'clock hour here. Quick one as we wrap up the first hour of the show, an hour that's flown on by. But if you missed any of the show, make sure you check it out on the podcast page, theticketfm.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can always go back on the video stream as well, Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, and watch the show. Just rewind there, and you're good to go. Okay, so while we only have a couple of minutes, Austin, you and I get to have our little baseball fix. And people are going to love this, right? Like, inject it into my veins. Like, here we go.
About time.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've been waiting all morning for this.
We've been waiting all morning. There was a point, and I can't get over this statistic or this little nugget. There was a point in the ALDS where Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was 6 for 7, while the entire Yankees team in the ALDS was 6 for 44. That was after he hit his grand slam. The Blue Jays dominate the Yankees yesterday, and they are now down. The Yankees are 2-0 in the series, one game. The ALDS, the NLDS are best of 5 series, and the Blue Jays have the Yankees on thin ice.
Just breaks your heart, doesn't it?
Of course.
Isn't it just too bad to see the Yankees get outscored 10-1 in an opening game romp in Toronto, and then yesterday 13-7, a 23-8 run differential. If you're looking at such things, Trey Savage is fun. Remember watching him in his funky delivery at East Carolina quite a bit. Max Fried got shelled. Now, the better hitters for the most part in the Blue Jays lineup are righties, so it's not overly surprising, but good on Toronto. They were ready for their moment. I mean, that's the 1 seed in the AL. They really haven't been the storyline.
No.
George Springer, of course, comes out in the last week of the year. Well, it feels like baseball wants the Yankees to win the division. But Toronto's the story. On the low, they're doing a lot of what Milwaukee's done.
Yeah.
They're very similar in terms of the way that they've been constructed. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yes. Milwaukee's
nothing more,
good.
nothing less.
They're just scrappy. Like, it's just they can beat you 1 through 9. And a lot of these, when you get to the playoffs, right, that's not like hard-hitting analysis. When you get to the playoffs, these are, exceptional lineups, and most of the time, pitching staff and bullpen are really good, and especially arms on the mound will carry you to a lot of it. But in that series specifically, it's been the offensive onslaught.
It has been. And the flip side of that in the American League has been the pitching.
Yeah. 2
really, really tight, fascinating games. One goes to extras. The win is such a funny baseball stat because you look at Matt Brash, borderline all-star guy for Seattle this year on the mound, allows the game-tying hit, but Seattle comes right back and scores. And so since he was the guy on the mound when it happened, guess what? He gets the win, even though he tried to blow the game. I'm happy for Seattle that they're having success. Game 1 had to be torture. Obviously, you've been to enough postseason baseball. You live and breathe with every pitch of the 162 to begin with. And there's a way to amplify that feeling in October. Playoff baseball is one of my favorite things. I've only experienced it 3 times now in my life as a Kansas City Royals fan. Each of the times, every pitch is just the most excruciating thing. You miss with the ball. Oh, crap. Now it's over. This is where it snowballs. Throws right. Oh, yeah, we're back. All right. We're good. We're lock it down. Playoff baseball sucks, and it's my favorite thing.
I will be on the edge of my seat tonight. Scotty Skur on the text line 402-464 says, Cubs fans equal. They can't wait to win the wild card so they can get throttled by the Brewers. Go Brew Crew. That's what Scotty Skur says. Here's the thing. Game 2 tonight. Game 1 was bad. Michael Busch led off the game with a home run. He's been one of the brightest spots of this roster in the last 60 games or so for the Cubs. But ultimately, still plenty of time left. They're if they win tonight, where you're back to 1-1, the series is going to Chicago. They win 2 from Chicago. You got the series. You're fine. So tonight's the big one, though. That's why it feels like such an uphill climb for the Yankees. To win 2 baseball games in a row is difficult. To win 3 is incredibly tough. And so ultimately,
ain't no White Sox or Rockies around these parts anymore.
No. So anyway, Cubs play at 8:08 p.m. tonight. Then the other one that is such a crazy cool series is the Phillies and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are just looking like a team that's just used to and accustomed to being in the postseason. They know how to handle the moment.
Yeah, we shouldn't be surprised that the Dodgers look good.
No.
Now, Philly, also dangerous. This feels like an NLCS in the NLDS.
Bingo.
And that's no disrespect to, again, either the Cubs or the Brewers
and that's
on the
how
other side.
That's how we felt like it was going to be because the NL was wide open all year long. So you knew that, even in the wild card, there were moments in the Cubs-Padres series where it's like, okay, this feels a lot more like an NLDS than a wild card, right? Or the Reds-Dodgers was a little more lopsided. But
the Reds were tipping their pitches.
Yes. Hunter Green, man.
Well, everyone.
Don't tip your
Dodgers
pitches.
found something on everyone.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
great scouting department.
They're no Rusty Coons, but they're all right.
No Rusty Coons. However, it's a crazy time to be alive. It's a crazy time to be alive. Let's dive into Nebraska football. They won on Saturday. We'll dive into that the entirety of the 10 o'clock hour right after this on The Drive.
This is your year where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert, driving left side, his Boyer picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good. Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of the show. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Orman with you. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or X. Allo Cable channel 961. All places for you guys to get in touch with the program. You can always reach out to Austin and I on Twitter as well. Nick_Sainert at Austin_Orman. All right, time to fully turn attention to Nebraska football. However, first, we have to tell you about our Cash Blitz keyword of the day.
He's doing the keyword.
Cash
Good
Blitz
job, Nick.
keyword, $1,000 cash contest keyword. Text it to 508-777-1000, or you can head to the website and click on Cash Blitz to enter. I'll give you a second. Once again, that phone number, 508-777-1000, or you can head online to theticketfm.com.
Do not text it to us.
Please do not text it to us.
Like 5 or 6 of you every day text the keyword to us. We don't need it. We don't do anything with it. 508-777-1000.
As much as I appreciate the listeners, I am not giving away $1,000 today or tomorrow at noon. However,
or any day in October.
Yeah,
You're not getting our 1,000.
That's a great way. Yeah, sorry. All right, today's keyword at the 10 a.m. hour is do. D-U-E. Do. D-U-E. Remember, every keyword you enter is another chance to win. One lucky listener will take home 1,000 buckaroos tomorrow around noon. Don't wait. Get that keyword in now. Once again, that phone number, 508-777-1000, or you can head to theticketfm.com. Top right corner, it says Cash Blitz. Click on that and enter the keyword do. D-U-E. All right. Now we can talk about Nebraska football. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you. Austin, let's start with very general observations, because I know naturally you and I will dive deep and go into a rabbit hole. General observation from Saturday. What did you like? What did you want to see more of?
What I liked is that Nebraska won the game. What I liked is that Nebraska got off to a hot start and that Nebraska finished strong. What I want to see more of from Nebraska is just extend the start.
Yeah.
Right. I want to see more of a spark at some point, right? I think this offense is veteran enough that it shouldn't take that long to refine the spark. And I get it. Every team goes through some lulls at times. I get it. But man, that was a brutal watch for 40 minutes in the middle.
Yeah.
The first 10 minutes were pretty fun. The last 10 minutes were pretty fun for Husker fans. Obviously more special teams in a positive way. What I want to see more of, defense got after Aiden Childs pretty well, I thought, for the most part. So no, not a clean game, not a perfect game, but a win. And Nick, I think my first main point for all of this is that this is the type of game that takes a team from 6-6 to 7-5 or 8-4, right?
Sure.
If you wanted Nebraska to win this game by 30 after it started out with a 14-0 start, I get it. It was never going to be that easy, right? Michigan State's got some talented people. You can say they're good. You can say they're bad. They're somewhere in the middle. This is a matchup of two teams in that middle-ish tier of the Big Ten trying to find their way through. When you get a team on the same tier as you lose, you fall below it. You win, you move ahead of them. Duh. But it's the next step of the program. You won one of these games that feels a lot like, Maryland a couple of years ago or Wisconsin a couple of years ago in year one of Matt Rule. Nebraska lost those games. They end up at the bottom of the middle tier. Nebraska won this one. It's a step in the right direction toward the top of the middle tier. So no, it's not program changing. It's not foundation shaking by any means.
Yeah.
It was a decent win. They won the game. They took a step forward as a program.
I think both things can be true. And this is something I told Jay on the post-game show on Saturday night, is I think both of these things can be factual in that Nebraska won the game and they played good enough to win the game. If Nebraska wants to get to where they want to be and accomplish some of the season-long goals, when looking at these last two games, Michigan and then Michigan State, Nebraska needs to play light years better.
Oh, yeah.
Like they have there's a lot of room for improvement. And so before the people on the text line get mad at us because we're not crediting the win or, hey, be happy because Nebraska won. No. To Austin's point, we're thrilled, right? It's a lot. Here's the gist of it, guys. I mean, it is a lot more enjoyable for us to come into work on a Monday and talk about a 4-1 Husker team than it is on a 3-2 Husker team that's now 0-2 in the Big Ten Conference. That's not true, right? Like that is I cannot stress that enough. So we are thrilled that Nebraska was able to win on Saturday and found a way, because it looked a little dark and gloom for a little bit there in the middle section of the game.
Even more than doom and gloom to me, it was just that kind of sinking feeling when you see something going wrong and you can't do anything to stop it. It was just a train wreck.
Yeah.
The train was going off the rails, but not quickly, right? It hit a little rock on the tracks here, and then there's another one down there, and it's wavering and it's wobbling. And okay, you look up at halftime and it's 14-7. You said, it feels like this is right where Michigan State wants it to be. And they continued it.
Yeah,
Nebraska gets the ball, turns it over on downs with the fake punt that doesn't go well, score immediately after that with an 11-play, 48-yard, 7-minute Big Ten of all Big Ten sort of drives. Then you get the interception from Dylan Raiola. Michigan State, 7 plays, 38 yards. They score a touchdown. But then, Nick, what was key to me was the response for Nebraska. Obviously, the big play to Ja'Cory Barney got credited as the spark. Whatever it took, though, bad teams don't respond to the other team taking the lead and immediately score on their next two possessions. Yeah. Nebraska scores the touchdown, gets the break, really, with Michigan State dropping the kickoff. They take advantage with a field goal, not full advantage, but okay, it works. Then they force Michigan State to go 3 and out. That's winning 3 possessions in a row. You stack those segments of the game where you win 3 possessions of the row, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. Then, of course, Nebraska forces another 3 and out, has the long touchdown, and kind of felt like the game was in control from that point with about 5 minutes to go. Not perfect, not clean, but Nebraska, when it needed to make winning plays, it did. Sure, make them earlier so it doesn't come down to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But it did. It's the Big Ten. It's going to, and they won the game.
I get so enthralled. I don't even know if that I just get so engulfed in the drive charts, and I recognize this is a fault of mine. But I find a lot of just nitty gritty details in drive charts, and I think this team for Nebraska, there's reasons I do it this year more so than maybe in years past, and here's why. Nebraska has struggled immensely this season when they get the ball in plus field position.
Yeah.
They've struggled immensely to turn it into points. And I think that a lot for me is as we continue this like evolution and this conversation about how Nebraska's went from a program that they were to now they struggled to force turnovers. They struggled to get off the field defensively. And then it was, all right, now they can get off the field, but they're still in bad field position. They're still on their side of the 50-yard line. To now this year, we're seeing it. Nebraska time and time again, whether it's because of the wind, whether it's for whatever reason, gets multiple opportunities, special teams, punt return, right? Whatever the reason might be, they have chances to start drives on the plus side of the 50. And this is where I think an area where Nebraska's got to get dramatically better at is. So let me just read you a couple of the drive charts, or excuse me, drives, just the overview. In the second quarter, Nebraska, this is the biggest one. Nebraska started the drive at the 26-yard line of Michigan State. They then go 3 plays, negative 32 yards, and they have to punt. Then the very next drive, they start at the Michigan State 45-yard line. They go 7 plays, 7 yards, and they turn it over on downs. Then the very next drive after that, they start on the Michigan State 44-yard line, and they go 3 plays for 2 yards, and they punt it away. Then later in the game is finally when they're able to crack it with a touchdown. They started after they turned Michigan State over on downs. They started in the fourth quarter at the 17-yard line. They take some 2 plays, 17 yards, and they score a touchdown. But Austin, that is 3 consecutive drives in this middle 8 that we talk about being so crucial. That is 3 consecutive drives. It started at 8 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the second quarter. That drive ended with 6 minutes to go until half. Then it was 5 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the second quarter. And that drive ended with 1 minute and 54 seconds. Then you get it back and you have it with 1:13. And I understand maybe you don't expect a touchdown out of that drive, but get into field goal range. And you can say all you want about the wind. That's just what you have to deal with. 3 consecutive drives. Nebraska got the ball and on the plus side of the 50, 0 points. That's unacceptable, whether you're going into a 25-mile-an-hour wind or whether you're going with it.
I highlighted on pregame the importance of the red zone for Nebraska specifically, but the point remains the same anyways, is that when Michigan State got down into Nebraska territory, they paid it off. They went 4 for 4 inside the Nebraska red zone. And not that Nebraska reached the red zone on all those drives, but that was the next step for me as well for this Nebraska offense, Nick, is if things are going to go bad, can you mitigate how bad they are? You know, if what should have been, in air quotes, a touchdown drive goes wrong, can you still get a field goal out of it?
Yeah.
If what should have, again, quote unquote, been a field goal drive goes wrong, can you at least move the ball for 5 or 6 plays and not punt from, your own end zone, your own 25-yard line?
Yeah.
Nebraska didn't really do that. When things went off the rails bad for Nebraska, it was really bad. You saw what the floor of this offense could be. I mean, they still put up 38 points, but you can't really credit the offense for it just because of how bad it looked in stretches. So, yeah, it's red zone execution for Nebraska. It's play calling, it's execution. It's a whole bundle of things that need to get better. And I'm sure Matt Rhule is going to be asked about it today. And I'm going to call my shot here. He's going to say, well, we can't just put our finger on one thing. We can't pinpoint it.
Sure.
A lot of things went wrong. Sometimes we made the wrong read. Sometimes the offensive line got beat. Sometimes the hole was there and we didn't hit it. Sometimes it's a drop, whatever it is. That's concerning that it's everything, but that also points you in the right direction. If everyone can get a little bit better, and it's on the table to fix. I was a little surprised Nebraska didn't take a shot with the plus field position. But again, you can't just say, oh, you have plus field position, we have to take a shot. You got to take what the defense gives you. Problem was, Nebraska took less than the defense was giving them on 3 crucial possessions that could have had them up multiple possessions into or out of halftime.
Exactly, right? Like you're up 14-7 at half, and you take away, okay, you don't want to take away, and you can't take away the blocked punt. But if you take away that special teams play, it's 7-7, right? And who knows what that situation looks like. And granted, right, nice job by the punt team to block it.
Well, I think we can still credit them for that, but there's at least 10 points Nebraska left on the board.
So let's even play that hypothetical game. You score on 2 of those 3 drives, 10 points, even 6 points at the minimum. It's 20-7, and you get the ball to start, right? Like we talk about that middle 8, and how did Nebraska then come out of the halftime break, right? These are the back-to-back drives. They start with the ball at their own 25. They throw an interception. Or they turn it over on downs to start the second half.
It was the fake punt.
It's the fake punt. Then on the next drive, Dylan Raiola throws the interception on the first play from scrimmage.
Maybe the worst interception of his Nebraska career.
And I think so we talk about the middle 8s. Nebraska's defense was fine. Like it was fine. Michigan State gifted Nebraska some things, right? Because I think that if Nebraska was playing, and you play who you play, I feel like we always got to preface that and put it around this caveat of hey, well, I understand you play who you play, and I'm not saying Nebraska should have lost this game or deserved to lose or whatever. But there's a potential that this week against Maryland, if your drive chart or if your middle 8 look the same, where you start with 3 possessions on the plus side of the 50, and your first 2 possessions of the second half are a total of 6 plays because you turn it over on a fake punt and then you throw an interception on the first play of the next drive, there's a very good chance you're not winning that ball game, because great teams, or really good teams, at least in the Big Ten Conference, know how to take advantage of that, and they know how to handle the conditions. And Nebraska, I will say this, is fortunate that Michigan State at a point, and maybe credit the Husker defense on this, Michigan State had a drive of 9 minutes and 45 seconds and a drive of 7 exact minutes on the dot. So over 16 and a half minutes in over the course of 2 possessions. They're taking up a half of a full quarter on 2 drives. That's what the Big Ten can do. And it's the second straight game somebody's done that to Nebraska in crucial situations. Michigan did it to them as well when they went on that 8-minute drive in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, essentially. And that's where I don't always love just putting it on the offense to keep the defense off the field.
Absolutely.
If you're the defense for Nebraska, John Butler, position coaches, players, whoever, you got to say, you know what? Yeah, we don't want to be, we love to play football. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
But it's time for us to get off the field, right? We can't continue to get beat by 3rd and long turning into 4th and short in a conversion from Michigan State. It happened, 4 times? At least 3 times for the Spartans. Yes, I mean, the offense needs to sustain some drives, because on the flip side of that, Nebraska has drives of 1 minute and 8 seconds, a drive of 7 seconds, and then short touchdown drives with short fields, I guess. You can't factor those in. But that's where you also look at the Big Ten of it all too, Nick. That's where the importance of the special teams play comes in, because Nebraska only gets 1 offensive drive in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Went well for the Huskers, 9 plays, 48 yards, just over 4 minutes, and they score a touchdown on it from 52 yards out. But that's where, if you're only going to touch the ball once, that's why special teams gets magnified, why it becomes so important to not just, tip the punt or deflect the punt, but to actually score points on special teams. Yeah, time of possession, it is important to a degree. You can overcome some of that if, like you saw from Nebraska against Michigan State in moments, you score in the 3rd phase of the game, or you add some explosive plays. Because if you're not going to be able to consistently sustain drives or consistently take advantage of the opportunities other teams gift you with 2 just atrocious interceptions from Aiden Childs, the example from Michigan State. If you're not going to consistently capitalize on other people's mistakes, you got to have some of those kind of specialty scores if you can.
I mean, Nebraska had the exact same average. There's a lot of similarities between these 2 sides on Saturday in the statistic department. I mean, the average 3rd down and distance, Nebraska on average was 3rd and 8.5 yards. I mean, that is behind schedule. Michigan State was the exact same. Average 3rd down distance, 8.5. You look at points off of turnovers for Nebraska, 0 points off of turnovers for Nebraska. This goes back to the evolution conversation that I talked about at the start, to where you have these, okay, Nebraska, what's the next step as a program to get better? Well, they got to be better in the turnover margin. Okay, now we know what we need to do. Let's see if we can actually go out and execute it. So then the next step is you go out and execute, and you force 2 turnovers, and you force 2 interceptions. Deshaun Singleton, nice job by him. Aiden Childs made some bad throws. Now, what's the next step? Make them pay.
Yeah.
Convert those into points. The ball game feels a lot different if it is a 28-7 game, because you were able to get 10, or I should say 20-7. Let's just go off of that scenario. 20-7. And then you can come out in one of your first 2 drives in the second half and score, and it's 27-7. It feels like that game is much different than what it was and what it really needed to be. And so when it's all said and done, Nebraska won. Like, hey, a round of applause. Like, you figured out a way to get it done. You won ugly, right? And that is as ugly as it could be. But as you go into a very important month and a half of football, a lot has to get cleaned up. And more so, I would say, potentially on the offensive end than at times the defensive side.
I won't say one more than the other, because they both have their issues, right? Offense is red zone. Defense is still stopping the run. And I'll throw this out there too, Nick. I know we still have another half an hour to get to this, but the other part of this game that needs to be factored in is there were a lot of those random injury stoppages.
Absolutely.
And I felt like this was the first time all year that Nebraska hurt itself with penalties. And some just funky plays. I mean, Michigan State's first drive that they put together, Nebraska has Aiden Childs in the grasp 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah.
He escapes, gets it to Frazier, and makes a 12-yard gain out of it. The Spartans are off and rolling. Michigan State made some plays. Nebraska hurt itself in some penalties. So the hold in the offsides on the one play and the DPI in the end zone on the other contributed to a scoring drive. You think about the bad snap when Nebraska still has a chance to get to field goal range on the drive that started at Michigan State's 26. The block in the back on Ja'Cory Barney's punt return. This is the first game I really felt like Nebraska was hampered by penalties in an active way. And most of them legit. They don't get the call on the face mask on Dylan Raiola, which is what it is at this point. So I think even just if you look big picture, it took until game 5 of the year for us to say, man, penalties really got Nebraska. They got to clean it up.
Yeah.
They've been better on that front. They haven't been crucified by their own penalties. And so I don't know if that's a good thing that finally happened. It's out of the way. If it's a bad thing, a sign of things to come, we'll see. But despite it not being perfect, Nebraska generally managed to find a way to do enough in this game. Probably won't be the same next week, but you never know.
Yeah, Nebraska 4 penalties in that first half and 2 in that second half. You mentioned it, a lot of weird stoppages. It was a long game. 3 hours and 33 minutes was the official length of the game. Started at 3:05 and it got done at 6:39 p.m. Eastern time. It is a long game for Nebraska. And it felt like it kind of drug on at times, maybe because there was not a whole lot going on the field. And I'm sure there's going to be skeptics out there that say, guys, Nick, Austin, they still scored 38 points. And you're talking about the offense as being as bad as it was. Well,
how many total yards did Nebraska have?
They had 261.
261 total yards.
Yeah.
Dylan Raiola's
194
quarterback
of those came
rating
for the year.
was 18.9, according to ESPN. It was not a good offensive performance.
Yeah.
It was an offensive performance that was just barely enough because of a couple big plays.
Yeah. There's some interesting things that we can definitely keep on going through. Let's when we come back, we'll read some of your texts. There's a lot of good ones that I want to get to on the text line. Appreciate you guys being patient with us. Keep sending those in. Let us know if there's a thought, if there's an angle you specifically want us to reach. Let us know on the text line 402-464-5685. We got about a half hour left in the program here today. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman with you. It's The Drive, sponsored by our friends at Doors Plus. We'll do that when we come back.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Verne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Schwieso Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwieso Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwieso.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Go Hog Wild Pet Barbecue. It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild, but I'd have to say it's their award-winning ribs. Hog Wild buys their meat from those who share their high-quality standards, then hand rubs each slab with their famous seasoning blend and slow smokes them over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're gonna keep coming back for. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Imagine hitting rewind on your life 10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman with you. AD is back tomorrow. Make sure you tune in every morning, 9 a.m. Also, make sure you tune in old school with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman, 3 to 6 later today, and all the other ticket shows. As plenty of coverage breaking down Nebraska versus Michigan State. Once again, the phone number to call and to text, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. Okay, let's get to some of these on the text line, because I kind of put off some of these to the side so I could get back to them. Unnamed texter says this, and this has been a common thought. What saddens me is seeing the difference on special teams that a good coach makes, but knowing we will be stuck with Raiola as offensive line coach for at least a few more years. That also followed up with Old Dad 34 texted in. Donovan should have been fired at halftime, but Rule is too scared because Dylan might transfer. Austin, I'm going to let you go first on how you want to address this, because the offensive line is a very hot button topic right now. And I understand why, right? Another game where they allow 5 sacks. I mean, you go back to the last 2 games now. What is that? 11 sacks in the last 2 games for Nebraska.
12. It was 7 against
That's right.
Michigan.
It was 7 against Michigan. Mm-hmm. So 12 in the last 2 games, where it's for a team that Michigan State did not rush the quarterback well. Michigan State was tied 115th in the country in sacks per game going into the game against Nebraska. Fun fact, the exact same spot nationally as Nebraska, where both teams were averaging about a sack and a half a contest. I do not fall in line into this idea that, hey, you have to hold on to Donovan Raiola because he's your quarterback's uncle. I would like to think that Nebraska has a little more integrity than that.
You would like to think, you would like to hope. You're also not going to fire the guy mid-season.
No, gosh,
you
no.
know, so let's maybe put that on the back burner, right? You can reassess after the year. I think overall, the body of work in the last 3 years, 2.5 years, the offensive line's gotten generally better across the board. It's not perfect. It never will be. Clearly, the last 2 games Nebraska's played have not exactly been the report cards you're going to hang on the fridge by any sense of the imagination. The offensive line is not perfect. It's better than where it was, but what we're seeing is elite talent like Michigan can still get it, and even average talent like Michigan State has in the Big Ten on that side of the ball still has its moments. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the flip side of that. Pro Football Focus has its 2 highest graded Nebraska players as offensive linemen, which again, I'm not saying is a, well, we'll look at the data.
It's not gospel.
It's not gospel. I'm just saying it's interesting
Yeah.
that people who sit, again, it's not just numbers, it's people who sit down and watch the games, said Nebraska's 2 highest graded players on offense were the tackles. I don't know. It's just an interesting data point, but Raiola's not going anywhere right now. And I hope, let's take this from the Dylan Raiola side of things. If he's tired of getting hit, you know, you're not going to take it out on your uncle. You want him to have a job. Obviously, it's family, but like, dude, help me out. Yeah. Or, you know, Coach Rule, please get him an assistant to help that's better, because a lot of work gets done by the position coach, but you can have like basically an unlimited coaching staff. Go get some good analysts in there to help these guys if you can.
And Nebraska does have a lot of bodies on the sideline too. Like they used a lot of their roles to it. Nebraska currently ranks in terms of sacks allowed. They currently rank 118th in the country. Nebraska has allowed 15 sacks throughout 5 games, which is not a great data point. To speak about data points, just to give context to the situation, I told you before we came on the air, actually, they announced Dylan's average time to throw was 4.05 seconds on Saturday. That's a decent amount of time.
Wow.
Like that is a decent amount of time to sit back. Like there's got to be some creativity that goes into play to where you need to be able to distribute the ball and deliver the mail.
Okay, let's break down that 4-second number.
Because everybody loves to say, well, Dylan was holding on to the ball too long. And I don't necessarily fall into that department either.
2.5 seconds is a pass block win for an offensive lineman. You did 60% more than that on average. Now, there were some quick pressures.
Yeah.
Some of it is on the offensive line getting beat with not the first effort, but the second. Some of it is Dylan Raiola. Where is he stepping up into? Where are his eyes going? Where are his feet taking him? He's not perfect in that. You know, where is the running game to keep some of the pass rush on its heels a little bit?
Sure.
But where are the wide receivers getting open? Nebraska's biggest plays on offense, one of them was the quick hitter to Isaiah Hunter. The other was a second effort sort of play from Ja'Cory Barney, who kind of broke his route off and then went back up the sideline on that concept for the 45-yarder. So it's not like you can say, well, Dylan's just sitting back there because no one's open. Guys have been open. Dylan missed some open guys throughout the game. But then there are times in key moments where Nebraska struggled to get separation. And then when Nebraska did have separation, okay, now the offensive line got beat pretty quick and Dylan's running for his life and you can't see it. Again, you can't just pinpoint one issue. Oh, it's all on the offensive line. Oh, it's all on Dylan. Oh, it's all on the wide receivers. Different plays are different things. And that, I think, is what's frustrating as well, is that you can't say if Nebraska just fixes this one issue, they'll be better in that area. There's 3 or 4 different things that got to get fixed.
Now, to flip sides, looking at Maryland's offensive line, they're 4th in the country in sacks allowed. They have all season long have allowed just 2 sacks on their quarterback. Now, part of that is the mobility that their quarterback provides, maybe a little bit better than Dylan. But then on the flip side, this is where the improvement in the offseason was supposed to be there for Dylan. Like we have to be upfront about this as well, is that he moves fine, but doesn't move great. And I don't want to say that the sacks are because Dylan's immobile, right? Like, I think there's different levels to it, to where you have, I should say this, there's different levels to where it's like DJ Uiagalelei, and then there's like dual threat run first quarterback. And Dylan maybe is like near the halfway point, but maybe slightly on the DJ Uiagalelei side. And that's okay. If your receivers can get open, we hear all the time about processing. If you can process quick enough and then act on that quick enough. And the action part is the thing that I think we're all still waiting to see
consistently.
Like, we know Dylan is a student of the game, a student, and knows the coverages and how to identify things, and the processing. All we hear about is how good he is at that. But the action, the second part of that, we haven't seen consistently.
No, he's got to be able to translate it, 75+% of the time. It seems like in these games, especially when Nebraska goes through lulls, obviously the quarterback's going to end up getting a lot of blame, fair or unfair.
Yeah.
He's got to be better. The offensive line had to be better. I had something really great to say, and it just slipped my mind.
That's all right. I think
I'll come back to this.
With a lot of it, I'll try to remember here. But
I found it. You did.
Perfect.
Okay. Dylan Raiola is not an elite athlete.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. There, though, are 5 or 6 different sacks that he's gotten out of this year that there's no way he gets out of last year. He doesn't look great scrambling and running the ball. Not the most athletic diver or slider that we've ever seen. But you can't say he hasn't improved.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 or 3 times in the first 2 series against Michigan alone, I was going, how did he get out of that?
Yeah.
Really? Dylan Raiola had enough mobility and awareness to get out of that sack? I didn't see that last year. He's never going to be an elite top-tier athlete. He's always going to be pocket-based, but he can throw decently on the run. He's got better escapability. He's just never going to look like Eric Crouch or Tommy Frazier, putting his feet in the ground or, lowering his shoulder.
But the whole point of this is also he shouldn't have to.
No.
Like on the other side of that, let's go taking away the blame from Dylan and realize that this is a much bigger issue than just like Nebraska's quarterback or just Nebraska's offensive line or Nebraska's running back room. Emmett Johnson was, before we say any of this, Emmett Johnson was the MVP on Saturday, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, three rushing touchdowns.
On offense.
On offense, yes. He was the MVP on offense for Nebraska. I think that both things can be true, is that in this offense, you should be able to figure out ways, whether that's to give the quarterback time because your offensive line is able to hold blocks, or the talent that Nebraska brought in through the transfer portal at the skill position, most specifically the wide receiver room, should be good enough to be able to bail your quarterback out. And you elected to not go after another running back or do what was necessary to bring in another running back, or maybe I'll phrase it that way, to then where you expect a lot out of Emmett Johnson, and then some combination that you're still trying to figure out between Isaiah Mosey, Mekhi Nelson, and Quentin Ives, right? In some combination. You shouldn't have to rely on your quarterback to be a Heisman performer. Like that, you don't need to. But it feels like at times that's what you still need. You need your quarterback to go make the spectacular play.
Sometimes, yeah, and that's what you thought you got in the 5-star in Dylan Raiola. But you also thought that's what you were getting from Dana Holgorsen, is that you cut down some of the processing. And, of course, the knock on the Dana Holgorsen style quarterbacks as well. They're not NFL ready. Oh, the reads are too simplistic. And again, I'm not the end all be all in terms of evaluation in that. There have been some easy completions.
Yeah.
But I don't think Matt Rule wants a brainless offensive system. There's a reason they haven't gone full air raid, maybe like Dana Holgorsen's roots are, is that they are still asking Dylan Raiola to make some decisions pre-snap. And then obviously get better after the snap as well. But we're not seeing the same, Case Keenum kind of offense like we did at Houston or Brandon Weeden down at Oklahoma State. And Matt Rule, wants to be a pro-style operation in a lot of ways. And so he's never going to go that full way. So that's the challenge for Dylan Raiola. Okay, they're going to give me as many easy answers as they can, but sometimes I still got to problem solve.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's take a break. I want to get to the quarterback conversation. Barney texts in on the text line. He says, I wish we would have put in the backup quarterback, TJ Lateef is who he's talking about, on a series and see what he can do. I think he's a little bit better of a quarterback than Dylan is. That's what Barney says on the text line. Let's dive into that as we wrap up the show, get you ready for the rest of the Ticket programming throughout the day here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Imagine hitting rewind on your life 10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We will get to the quarterback conversation in just a second because I do think it's important just to touch on it. But I don't know if you saw this, Austin. Did you watch the morning NFL game yesterday at all?
I did not get a chance to.
The Cleveland Browns, they fell short against the Minnesota Vikings. But in that game, Malik Collins had 2 sacks for the Cleveland Browns. Former Husker, former Texan Malik Collins had 2 sacks for the Cleveland Browns in that matchup against the Vikings.
Big day for a late era Bo Pelini Huskers.
That is right.
Collins 2 sacks. Amir Abdullah scores a touchdown for my Indianapolis Colts.
That's right. Your Colts are good.
They seem to be.
The Colts are good. Okay, so we had this text from Barney. Real quickly, we only have about 4 minutes left in the show. Barney says, I wish Nebraska would have put in the backup quarterback in on a series and seen what he can do. I think he's a little bit better of a quarterback than Dylan is. IQ Crew chimes in and says, everybody's favorite player is the backup quarterback. Dylan is the best quarterback we've had since Tommy Armstrong. Okay, let's quickly 30-second elevator pitch as to why we like or don't like that idea or scenario. My initial thought, as this has been a very hot button topic, is I sit there and I say, all right, let's play the hypothetical game of, okay, Nebraska puts TJ Lateef in, if you are one of those people, and you like what you see. So first off, what are you going to do? You're going to bench Dylan Raiola, I suppose, right? Okay, go ahead. What happens the first time TJ Lateef makes a freshman mistake? Then ultimately, you're going to say, well, you know what you can get from Dylan? Maybe the consistency is what Nebraska would rather have. And so you go back to Dylan. Then you're just playing this like back and forth game. You don't want to do that. Like, I think there's a lot that has to go into it rather than just putting in a guy for a series.
You can't base your decision based on the politics of the decision. You have to be aware of them. We know Dylan Raiola can be a good quarterback in the Big Ten. Not great, not elite, but at least a good quarterback. We think TJ Lateef can be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be his time. It doesn't need to be his time. The point of him coming in early and rolling when he did was so he could get a head start. Nebraska's biggest issue as a program is not Dylan Raiola's mobility or lack thereof, right? Now, a lot hinges on Dylan Raiola being successful, but TJ Lateef plays well. Well, why did you force out your 5-star transfer quarterback?
Yeah.
And sever, or at least damage, a relationship with a program legend and his dad, Dom Raiola, for a guy that's not playing terrible football. He's been fine. He's been fine. Has he been the solution to all of Husker fans' problems forever? No, he hasn't. But Dylan Raiola has been a huge upgrade over what Nebraska has seen at the quarterback position for the last, few years before him. And then TJ Lateef. Okay, if he plays well, great. And you're able to ride with him for the rest of this year and then 2-3 more years after that, you made the gutsiest call of your life. But are you willing to risk your reputation? Are you willing to risk the fate of this program and so much more in the state on hoping and thinking that a freshman who saw games against 2 of the worst teams that Nebraska's played in the last decade, are you really willing to bet everything on that? And I'm not saying that's a detraction against TJ Lateef, who looks like he's got some moxie to him.
Yeah.
TJ Lateef looks like a good player. It just doesn't need to be TJ Lateef's time now because we're so concerned about Dylan's mobility and the fact that he's not perfect.
I think, and Husker fans might not admit this because we might not recognize this at the forefront of our minds. I think a lot of the urge and want to play TJ Lateef this soon is because Husker fans fear that he will leave. You cannot run a program like Nebraska out of fear. You can't run any program out of fear of somebody leaving And I think maybe I'm not saying Barney's doing this. I'm not saying, like, I'm as big of a TJ Lateef fan as as there can be, right? Like, I'm excited to see, hopefully in 2 years, what it looks like, right? Like, and that's, nothing will ever change that for me. However, there's some truth to be said of, like, I can say that and then not realize that I'm saying that, because in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there going, okay, how can Nebraska treat TJ Lateef to where he doesn't transfer out? You can't operate out of fear. You can't operate and say, we need to play this guy solely for the reason of hoping that he doesn't transfer.
You can't let yourself be a hostage to your roster.
Yeah,
you coach with who you have, right? So we can play this situation out two ways. Right now, why would you be happy if Dylan Raiola transferred? Think about how big of a get that was in recruiting. Everything that went into getting him behind the scenes and how he elevated the quarterback position for Nebraska. He can still get better. Absolutely. But again, not that it's all about the optics, but kind of it is in recruiting. Really? You helped push out or didn't do more to fight to keep your 5-star quarterback in town?
Yeah.
All because you were, catering to his backup? That doesn't look good. Or, are you playing the politics game, just keeping Dylan Raiola around because of the family name or because of the ties? No, because guess what? You should be happy to have Dylan Raiola. He's done some good for the program. His family has. If TJ Lateef leaves, it stinks. It's no good. Yeah. It's college football. What you should be happy about is that it seems like Nebraska has 2 quarterbacks you can feel good about over the next 2.5 years.
There you go. We could, dive into that conversation for 30, 45 minutes if we wanted to. But I think Nebraska's at a pretty good spot. A quarterback. There's always going to be improvements. There's always going to be gripes and complaints and things like that. But I get it. It's a popular conversation. All right, we're out of here. Austin, thank you as always, my friend. Make sure you stick around and join later today. Old School with Foreman and Orman at 3:00. Plenty of ticket conversations coming your way starting in the 11 o'clock hour. AD's back tomorrow. We'll see you.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild, but I'd have to say it's their award-winning ribs. Hog Wild buys their meat from those who share their high-quality standards, then hand rubs each slab with their famous seasoning blend and slow smokes them over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're gonna keep coming back for. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Imagine hitting